My fiancé's brother whispered to me, "She's uncertain about you, but if you get her the ring she truly desires, she'll commit." I just nodded with a faint smile. The following day, the venue contacted her, explaining why the deposit under her name had vanished. Have you ever had a conversation so hushed it felt like an explosion? That was me last Saturday evening, standing on my fiancé's parents' back deck. The explosion came from a few murmured words by her brother, and the fallout is still settling. Here's the situation. I'm Jack, 36, and I run a couple of restaurants. It's a demanding business, but I've built a solid life. My fiancée, Anna, is 29. We've been together for 3 years, engaged for the past 6 months. She's stunning, charismatic, and hails from a family where wealth is generational, and image is everything. I'm self-made, my money freshly earned. Her family has always regarded me with a polite skepticism, like I'm a clever pet who somehow mastered algebra. The engagement was a grand affair. I proposed with a ring I thought was exquisite, timeless, sophisticated, with a sparkling diamond. She accepted, but weeks later she approached me with a somber expression and a rehearsed speech. Her friends and mother felt the ring wasn't quite her. She confessed she couldn't stop thinking about another ring, a sleek, modern, and far pricier design from a luxury jeweler. It sounded like the key to her eternal joy. I'm not naive. I saw it for what it was. A test, a financial and social barrier she was erecting. But I loved her, and I convinced myself her happiness was paramount. So I agreed to get the new ring, explaining it would take time since my funds were tied up in opening a new restaurant. She sulked, but eventually nodded. Meanwhile, wedding plans surged forward, mostly on my dime. We secured an exorbitantly priced venue, a historic vineyard her mother demanded. Every choice seemed crafted to push my financial limits. That brings us to last Saturday. We were at her parents' home for their anniversary celebration, surrounded by her entire family. The evening was a subtle showcase of their affluence and my outsider status. Her father droned on for 20 minutes about his latest sailing adventure. Her mother dismissed the $200 bottle of wine I brought as adequate for the table. After dinner, I stepped onto the deck when her older brother, Daniel, joined me. He's a finance bro, always impeccably suited, exuding a smug air of superiority. He calls everyone dude in a way that feels like a slight. After some patronizing chit-chat about my new restaurant, implying it was doomed, he paused, gazing over their pristine lawn. Then in a low, conspiratorial tone, he said, "Listen, Jack, I'm telling you this because I want my sister to be happy. Between us, she's not entirely sold on you." My body froze, though it wasn't a surprise, just a confirmation of a gnawing doubt I'd buried for months. "She thinks you're decent," he went on, avoiding my gaze, "but she's accustomed to a certain standard of living. She has other prospects, guys from her world. That ring she wants, it's a big deal. It's a statement. It proves you're serious, that you can give her the life she expects. Honestly, if you get her that ring she's been showing everyone, she'll seal the deal. She'll be content. It'll fix everything." He gave me a patronizing pat on the shoulder. "Think about it, dude. It's a small cost for a lifetime of bliss, right? Consider it an investment in your future." I stayed silent, offering a tight, hollow smile, nodding as if I was mulling over his vile, transactional advice. He smirked, satisfied, and sauntered back inside, leaving me alone in the dark. She'll seal the deal. It wasn't a marriage, it was a contract. The final clause, a diamond bribe to secure her at the altar. The pain hit, but it was quickly overtaken by a surge of liberating fury. I returned inside, playing the doting fiancée for the rest of the night. I chuckled at her father's terrible jokes, praised her mother's dessert, kissed Anna goodnight, and told her I loved her. She had no clue she was speaking to a man already orchestrating the complete dismantling of the life she thought she'd locked down. She saw herself as a queen in a palace, unaware the man who built it was about to pull the foundation out from under her. Update 1 ***. I didn't sleep that night. Lying beside her, listening to her steady breathing, my mind churned with cold, calculated plans. This wouldn't be a sloppy, emotional split. It would be a strategic overhaul. Her role in my life was now obsolete. On Sunday morning, I made my first move. The final hefty payment for the vineyard venue was due Monday. I had a wire transfer lined up. I called my bank's 24-hour business line and spoke to a helpful rep named Mark. I canceled the transfer, a quick 5-minute call that sparked the avalanche. Next, the ring. She wanted a symbol. I'd give her one. I spent Sunday morning browsing online, not for jewelry, but for classic cars, something I'd always dreamed of owning. A vintage muscle car, raw and bold, the kind her family would find garishly distasteful. I found a pristine 1969 Camaro a few hours away, negotiated a price over the phone, almost exactly the cost of her dream ring, and arranged to see it Monday. Then I addressed her presence in my home. Anna hadn't just moved in, she'd overtaken my space with her designer clothes, furniture, and art. I wanted it gone, but not carelessly. I wanted to send a message. I hired a high-end moving company for Monday morning, one that specialized in meticulous packing. Their destination? Not a storage unit, but Daniel's house. He delivered the ultimatum, he could handle the consequences. I found his address online and gave it to the movers, calling it a surprise gift for his sister, billed entirely to me. Monday was a whirlwind. While Anna was at her part-time gallery job, arranged by her parents, the movers arrived. They were flawless. In 3 hours, every trace of her was erased from my house, from her luxury dresses to her half-empty shampoo bottle. They loaded it all into a truck bound for Daniel's pristine suburban doorstep. Once they left, a locksmith arrived, installing new locks and security codes. My home was mine again. At noon, I drove to see the Camaro. It was even more stunning in person. I paid cash, a duffel bag of what was meant for her ring, and drove it home, parking the loud, glorious beast in my driveway where she couldn't miss it. The first call came at 3:15 p.m. from the vineyard's frantic event manager. The payment hadn't gone through. I feigned confusion. That's odd. Anna's been handling all the venue communication, right? Her name's on the contract. The manager confirmed. Well, you should talk to her then. I'm just the financier. She's in charge. I hung up, knowing what would follow. They'd call her, informing her that the $20,000 deposit on her credit card, which I paid for, was at risk unless the $80,000 balance was paid immediately. The fuse was lit. Update 2 ***. Anna called at 3:22 p.m., shrieking so loudly I held the phone away from my ear. Jack, what's happening? The venue said the payment was canceled. You said you had it covered. I replied calmly. I did, but new information led me to reassess the investment. Investment, she snapped. This is our wedding. No, Anna, I said, my tone even. It was a transaction and the terms were unacceptable. I spoke with your brother. He made everything clear. If I buy the right ring, you'll commit. I'm not meeting your price. Silence followed as she struggled to respond. My brother, she stammered. Yes, he was very clear about the nature of our relationship. So the deal's off. The wedding's off. We're done. Your belongings are no longer here, there at Daniel's house. Since he's so invested in our relationship, he can help with your new arrangements. The locks are changed. Don't come by. Then came the threats. Her father would sue. She'd ruin me. Go ahead, I said. Have your father's lawyers contact mine. My attorney's already aware of your brother's attempt to extort me. That's a crime, Anna. Look it up. I'm sure your father's firm would love the publicity. I hung up and blocked her number. An hour later, Daniel called, trying to sound menacing. You're making a huge mistake, Jack. No, Daniel, I shot back. The mistake was you thinking I'm as foolish as you. By the way, your sister's entire life is about to land on your lawn. Enjoy. I hung up. My phone buzzed with a text from my friend Mark, who lives in Daniel's neighborhood. It was a photo. A massive moving truck parked in front of Daniel's perfect home, movers unloading boxes onto his pristine grass. In the doorway, a woman, likely Daniel's wife, was yelling at him. Mark's text read, Bro, what did you do? I replied with a laughing emoji. The rest of the evening brought a flurry of calls and texts from Anna's family and friends, all ignored. I sat on my porch, sipped a beer, and admired my new car. The next day, the smear campaign began. I was painted as the villain who got cold feet and cruelly sabotaged her dream wedding, kicking her out. Her maid of honor, Chloe, sent a sanctimonious text about how I'd shattered the heart of an angel. I saved it. My response? I created a new Instagram account and posted a sleek photo of my Camaro gleaming in the sunlight. The caption, chose to treat myself instead of buying a new ring. Best choice ever. No regrets. Freedom. I didn't tag Anna. I didn't need to. The message was clear. The money she coveted was now a roaring V8 in my driveway. The next day, an unfamiliar number called, her father. His voice was icy, threatening. He said I'd made a dangerous enemy and his lawyers would destroy me. I let him finish, then replied calmly, With respect, sir, the only crime here was your son's attempt to extort me on your daughter's behalf. If you want a legal battle, I'll make it public. I'll subpoena Daniel to explain under oath why he demanded a bribe. I wonder how his firm's ethics board would react. You decide. quietly cover your daughter's $20,000 deposit or risk your son's career and your family's reputation. I hung up. The war was over. I dropped the final bomb. Final update asterisk, 6 months have passed and the dust has settled. I never heard from her father or his lawyers again. The annulment was swift and straightforward since we never reached the altar. My lawyer sent Anna's family a letter with a detailed invoice for my half of the non-refunded wedding expenses, over $50,000, along with a reminder of the legal and social fallout of publicizing her and Daniel's actions. They chose silence. I didn't recover the money, but their absence was payment enough. From what I've heard, Anna's life isn't the fairy tale she envisioned. Her relationship with Daniel is fractured. His wife was livid about their home becoming a storage site, and an anonymous tip to his firm's compliance team about his role in the extortion scheme stirred trouble at work. He blames Anna for the chaos, and she blames him for his reckless words. She's moved back with her parents, her leisurely lifestyle gone without my financial support. She's now working a full-time job, and her friends, once eager for her transactional marriage, vanished when the money dried up. I saw her once a few weeks ago while driving my Camaro on a sunny Saturday, heading to pick up my new girlfriend. A kind, grounded woman who loves my car and doesn't care about my watch brand. Anna was at a bus stop looking ordinary and dejected. She saw the car, then me. Our eyes locked briefly. I didn't wave or gloat, I just drove on. The true revenge wasn't the canceled wedding or public embarrassment, it was refusing to play her game. She and her family saw me as a walking ATM, a tool for their ends. They thought my love was a commodity to be bought. I proved I wasn't for sale. I took the money they craved and bought something that brings me genuine joy. She wanted a ring to flaunt her status. Instead, she got a life reflecting the cost of her greed. She didn't want a partner, she wanted a transaction. And when the deal collapsed, she was left with nothing.